Greetings, my name's Aaron Ciotti. Everybody calls me Ciotti. Welcome to Whoop Wednesday. Huge shout out to Project Mockingbird for making sure that I didn't break a release date. I didn't, you know, with release dates, you think of like quads and like you know, big expensive stuff. I just didn't. It didn't cross my mind that there would be a release date for the new. Why wouldn't there be? But yeah, I was just I messed up. I made a thumbnail for Newbie Drone's new batteries, and I was getting all excited, and I posted it all over the place, and Project Mockingbird in my Discord was like, I thought they don't come out till the 29th, and I was like, ah, Christ. I went back to the email from Newbie Drone, and I was like, oh shit. So I had to pull that down, and that's why I'm starting late. I had to make a new thumbnail and everything. But this is actually going to be super fun. This was going to get rolled into that, which is how much of a difference do absolutely brand new batteries make? I've got a whole bunch of BT 2.0 300 mAh tiny whoop batteries that I've been running for. I've got two Newbie Drones. I've got two WeBleed batteries here that I think I've been running for about a year, and you guys know that I fly a lot, so they've been cycled quite a bit. I've got one Tattoo. It's been cycled quite a bit. And then I've got three Betaflight Lavas that have not been cycled nearly as much. The two WeBleed batteries are what's left from a pack of 4 fresh one. No, a pack of 8. I think a year or so ago. I know this because I put a little bit of marker on the top of batteries here. When I get like a pack of 4 batteries, I'll color those 4 batteries one color. In this case, this is gold for these 8 brand new WeBleed batteries that I've got. Both of these WeBleed batteries that I have are the same color up on top. So I know that I got them at the same time, and I'm pretty sure that I got 8 of them. I got 2 4-packs of them. So there's 2 out of those 8 that left that still fly okay. They're definitely older. The tattoo battery, I believe that is 1 remaining out of, I think they sell those in packs of 5. And then the lava batteries are different. BetaFPV sent me a whole bunch of lava batteries at one point. And so I don't necessarily know how long that they've been kicking around. Definitely not a year. The two used WeBleed batteries that we're gonna look at and run are definitely the oldest. The tattoo is probably a little bit less old. The other 6 batteries from those 8, for example, from WeBleed, those have the performance got to the point where they were so saggy that I said, you know what, I'm gonna trash these. And I've always got like BT 3.0, BT 2.0 300s floating around here and there. You know, BetaFPV sends me whatever the newest Air 65 is, and they'll include a pack of 4 of the lava batteries. WeBleed sends me a box of stuff for giveaways, and they'll throw in a couple of packs of batteries, and I'll grab those out. But I have not taken WeBleed batteries. I have not had fresh WeBleed batteries in about a year. I know it's been that long. So yeah, this will be super fun. I've got 6 charged, brand new WeBleed packs ready to go, and then I've got 2 old WeBleeds, 1 tattoo, and 3 BetaFPV lavas that have been cycled quite a bit. And we're gonna just run them back to back to back to back, and see what the difference is in runtime, see what the difference is in motor RPM, and just generally like, can I feel a difference? I have a feeling that I will. I'm super interested if we'll see a difference in runtime. That's the one thing that I'm really curious about. I'm pretty sure we'll see a difference in RPM, because like I have not. It's been a while since I've run a brand new battery, but from what I remember, every time I've ever run a brand new Tiny Whoop battery, it's like jet fuel. So I have a feeling that we'll be able to tell, but I haven't done this before, like on a live stream, and I haven't done it looking at paying attention to the runtimes, paying attention to the RPM, stuff like that. So this should be super fun. And again, shout out to Project Mockingbird for catching the fact that I was about to show you guys and review a product that doesn't come out until next Friday. Next Friday, the 29th, we will be taking a look at these brand new WeBleed batteries. I'm going to cycle these one time. I'm going to run these guys tonight on the live stream, and then they're going to sit, and I'm going to run the older batteries. I'm going to keep these 6 aside. I've got 2 more of these fresh WeBleeds that I will run between now and next Friday, along with all the old batteries. But yeah, I don't want to cycle these 6 because I want it to be as fair of a fight as possible with the new Newbie Drone batteries and these WeBleed batteries. That comparison will not be Newbie Drone versus WeBleed. It'll be BT 2.0 versus the new Newbie Drone connector, which is pretty cool. So yeah, there you go. In the chat, Raise FPV was first, You Can FPV was next, Frank Nicholas, Fizz PV, Mr. Clean FPV, Chaos Woner, Frosty, Cole Powers, Devin D, Sleepy CBR, Whoop Fox, Cole Powers again, Sleepy CBR, 7-0, Andrew Taylor, Spaceman Spiff, Doubles FPV, Hendrix Freakazoid, Kazuma, Spaceman Spiff again, Sleepy CBR again. That's good enough. If you want the Gangly Man to say your name, come into the chat early. Or just tag me, and I'll read your name in your comment. Type CiottiFPV into your chat comment to tag me. For me, it'll light up an orange. You can do that with each other. If you want to get Cole Powers' attention, type in your chat message, Cole Space Powers. And for him, his name will light up an orange. And then he'll see it and reply to you. CiottiFPV.com is my little website with a million different ways to support me. There's a Teespring shop where you can get this shirt and many others. Any motorsport freaks will know what this is from. Patreon is the best way to support me. This is a completely crowdfunded thing. I would super appreciate your support over on Patreon. If you're on the $3 a month tier, you might as well jump up to the $5 a month tier so that you get in on the giveaways. If you eventually win a giveaway, which eventually you will, you're going to win like $40, $50 worth of stuff. That'll cover that extra $2 a month. You know what I mean? So you may as well do that. But if you're not on my Patreon, hook a brother up, join the club. It's an awesome group of people. You're going to love it. You're going to get full access to the Discord. You're going to get a YouTube playlist with all kinds of unreleased stuff. There's a whole bunch of cool stuff going on actual Patreon, a bunch of posts and technical articles and whatnot. So yeah, it's the best way to support me. It's hard to do this, guys. Like it's absolutely absurd that I've been able to make this work as long as I have. Yeah, it certainly doesn't get much easier, unfortunately. I'm a niche within a niche within a niche within a niche within a niche. I don't know if I would ever do like the regular formula that all of the other FPV folks that do it full time, or at least spend a lot of time doing it, have kind of gone with, like reviewing products and doing quick stuff. If I'm going to do this, I feel like I'm going to do it the way that I've been doing it, which is to do deep dives into stuff, to take people from like good to great, not necessarily to focus on like absolutely brand new people and just churn and churn and churn and churn. So yeah, in order to do that, I need you guys to support me, and I greatly appreciate that you do. So click the thumbs up, subscribe, change your bookmarks to a bunch of different websites to my affiliate links. Those are over on the CiottiFPV.com as well. Buy yourself something nice, either on my Etsy store or Teespring or wherever. And yeah, I'll keep doing this for as long as I can. Cool. In the chat, the folks that have tagged me so far are Cole Powers. He says, like a scared teenage girl, CiottiFPV is late. It's a good thing I was late. Cole Powers says, NX69, I mean, if you're going to be juvenile with your naming convention, at least go all the way and use IC69. Yeah, why is everyone in FPV a child? I don't know the answer to that question, but I like it. Frank Nicholas says, CiottiFPV changed the live stream thumbnail. Yeah, either somebody messaged Carl or maybe Carl saw it. Carl's my contact over at Newbie Drone. He messaged me. He's like, dude, they're not out to the 29th. I was like, yeah, I caught it. Sorry about that, brother. No harm done. I caught it before I went live. Frank Nicholas said, oh no, we got that. Yukon FPV says, okay, so did they tell you when the release date is? It's been radio silent. 29th. Yukon FPV says, do you run AWG 20 power leads? I do not. I tried it. I didn't see a difference. There's definitely a difference in weight. Butterfly FPV is a fan of so standard Tiny Whoop battery leads are 22 AWG. Butterfly FPV is a huge fan of going up to 20 AWG. A little bit thicker. The problem is it's significantly heavier. It's like 0.3 or 0.4 grams heavier, I think it is. And I already get enough power and runtime. So for me, I'll take the weight savings. For like an outdoor rig or something like that, like a 75, I would probably do it. The build that I have on the tree toppers, if I have to pull that flight controller out of there, and if I remember, I will switch it over to the 20 gauge leads, because for an outdoor rig, that weight doesn't make as much of a difference, right? But for indoor stuff, man, I'm trying to sit, like, if it was a 0.1 gram difference, I would do it. If it was a 0.2 gram difference, I would begrudgingly do it. But like, you get up into like 0.3 and 0.4 of a gram, and with a build that weighs 17 grams, that's significant, right? Like, that's like a 4 or 5% increase in weight. And for me, and for the way that I fly, and for how tight it is in the house here, you know, I've got lots of gates hanging up. I've got just a million different things to kind of run into in here. The weight makes a huge difference. The reason why I say the way that I fly, I tend to fly very flat. I try to keep the horizon line as flat as I possibly can, because it looks better. It just does. The only people that like the way that flight footage that footage looks when the horizon line is doing this constantly are us. You know, I'm a commercial FPV pilot, I guess you could say, right? And I also just like the way that it looks better with the horizon flat. So when I corner, instead of going like this every time I corner and taking the horizon line and doing that and that and that and that all over and over and over again, I corner very flat. I coordinate the sticks, I push roll and yaw at the same time, and that makes it corner flat. When you do that, you can't just stand it up like this and hammer the throttle to get it stopped, right? You got a bunch of momentum, and then you want to change directions. So the way to do that, the racing way to do that, where you don't care about what the footage looks like, is to come in and stand it up like that, hammer the throttle, all this thrust kills all this momentum, and then away you go. The way that I fly is very flat. And so when you do this, you are going to start pushing in this direction, but you've got this momentum here that you've got to cook off. And the weight of the build has a lot to do with that. The lighter the weight, the less momentum it's going to have. And it makes a big difference. It's really noticeable for me. There's other things that you can do, like run a frame that has basically run a setup that's less aerodynamic from the side. If you look at your build from the side, something just occurred to me. Hold on. So we've been talking about this a little bit lately, and I hadn't thought all the way through this, but this is kind of interesting. I kind of realized this the other night on the stream, and I've been kind of thinking about it. When you're going straight and then you turn to the side, the aerodynamic profile is a big part of what's going to keep it from continuing to slide. Look at this, and then look at this. Don't look at the frame. Look at the canopies. Look at the difference in aero between these two canopies. The reason why also here's the newbie drone banana hammock canopy. Look at the difference between the two as far as aero, right? That's all see-through there. So the air is going to just shoot right through there. Whereas the old school Mobula 6 canopy is a big old aero restriction. So when I turn with this thing, that's going to catch more of the air and it's going to sort of dig in more. I realized this the other day on the stream because this is the new Air 65 V2 frame, and the duct area here is pretty low profile. And what I noticed is that, like, the old school Meteor 65 Pro frame, for example, is a lot taller. The Newbie Drone Light AF frame is also pretty skinny vertically. But then the Cockroach 65 V3 frame... Oh, farts. Hold on. I know I have one. Yep, there we go. The Cockroach 65 V3 frame is tall, kind of like the Meteor 65 frame, Meteor 65 Pro frame. Sorry, and so yeah, I'm gonna be swapping. I have moved pretty much all of my regular 65 millimeter motor to motor 1.2 inch prop frames over to the Air 65 V2 frame or the Light AF frame. I'm going to move one of them back to the Cockroach 65 V3 frame, and maybe what I'll do to make it as drastic as possible is I'll take one of these builds with the old school Mobula 6 upside down ball sack canopy. And this is the one that I'll move over to the Cockroach 65 V3 frame. So I'll basically build the least aerodynamic tiny whoop as I can. And then what I'll compare that to is either this guy, this specific build, or I could also do a build with the Brybrain canopy. But I feel like the Brybrain canopy and the Air 65 canopy are about the same aerodynamically, right? You can really kind of see it there. So much of this stuff is really, really, really subtle. What I've found when doing, testing for the last 4 years with you guys, is that it really helps to go to the extremes. And so that's what this would be, to be able to kind of tell the difference. And then once you know that there is a difference and that it is a noticeable difference and it's not just, sort of theory crafting nonsense, then you look at the sum of parts, right? So if I do this test and I can actually tell a difference in flight in the amount of grip that these two have in the corners, because they'll be totally different aerodynamically. If I then know that it does make a difference, I can just kind of use that to inform the decisions that I make as to when I'm doing a build, which canopy do I run, which frame do I run. If I really want to run the Air 65 V2 frame, which has really thin ducts and is going to be a little bit more slippery potentially, the frame itself, maybe I run the Mobula 6 canopy, which is going to block a little bit more of the air, and it's going to kind of offset that, right? Yeah, that was, I kind of wish that I kind of wished we'd done that today, but these WeBleed batteries just showed up, and it's been driving me nuts not to fly them. So this kind of works. Maybe that's what we'll do on Friday. Friday we will talk aero. Cool. The reason why I noticed this and was thinking about it is that lately I've been actually I had a conversation with EVA-FPV the other day, and we were talking about Cinewhoops and Cinesplores, and she actually didn't know that she had the cloud ducts. Hold on. It'll take me way longer to explain this without just showing it to you. She's got a couple of Cinesplores that she's looking to swap over to the new frame, the Cinesplore 2 frame, which is out of stock right now, but it should be back in a couple of weeks. And she didn't know about these StanFPV HQ port ducts that I love. She's got these Cloud 149 ducts, which are ultra, ultra, ultra tall. And they are fan-fucking-tastic for, like, flying indoors, flying slowly, stuff like that. These ducts, though, so there's 3 different ducts that work for the Cinesplore. The FPV cycle ducts, which are really skinny and really thin. These StanFPV ducts, which are somewhere in the middle. And then these Cloud 149 ducts. And so if you want to go really slow, you run the Cloud ducts. If you want sort of the best of both worlds and you don't want to change the ducts out all the time, you run these. I run these lately on everything all the time, mainly because they're so goddamn durable. These were a design cooked up between Bob Rugi, Kebab of FPV Cycle, and StanFPV. And then they had HQ pour these ducts. So these ducts are HQ plastic, and like they're just bomb proof. The only way to break these ducts is to break where the insert is, and it doesn't actually break. The insert just comes loose, and then you can put the insert back in there. They don't come with the inserts, but you want to install inserts in these. And so yeah, we'd gotten to talking. We earlier in the day before the live stream. Her and I had been talking about the different ducts and what a difference it really makes. Well, it was either that conversation or when I was showing you guys the flight footage from the Lululemon run walk thing. Somebody in the chat commented that like I was flying pretty fast, and then just all of a sudden I stopped. I really slowed down and stopped. And they're like, "How the hell did you do that?" And I was like, "You fly an actual Cinewhoop that doesn't have like a piece of dental floss as a prop guard like all of the new ones, right?" That might have been what had me thinking about it from a tiny whoop perspective as well. And yeah, you know, Cinewhoops are big and heavy, but it's kind of the same thing. Tiny whoops, to some extent, fly like Cinewhoops. Cinewhoops are carrying around a massive GoPro typically, so Cinewhoops are less agile and more kind of annoying from a flight character perspective. But there's a lot of similarities between these guys and the tiny whoops. Oy! Oy! I gotta fly that thing with the vertical mount on it. It won't even stand up on the wall. Oh, you can't even see. In a strange twist of fate, I'm dying for us to have a huge thunderstorm, because now that we have brand new gutters. The other night on the stream, they finished. They'd finished the gutters. What was it, Monday night? Yeah, they were done. I had no idea. Yeah, we got fresh gutters. We got the best of the gutter guards. We're looking fly at here at La Casa de. How fucking cringy is that? So yeah, now that we have the landscaping done and the fresh gutters, I need a big-ass rainstorm to make sure that this isn't going to flood back here again. And I really want that goddamn rainstorm to come, because I'm not putting this all back together and then it fucking floods again because the landscaping didn't work right that we had done, or these gutters don't work any better than the other ones, or some bullshit like that. I'm pretty sure that I'm fine, man. The biggest problem we learned with the old gutters was that on the corner all the way around the house, there's this like trim piece that comes out and then goes. There's a trim piece that's like this. So like the house is here, and then the roof is here, and then there's this trim piece, and the bastards mounted the gutters below this trim piece. So the roof ends here, and then there was this big ass drop off before the gutter actually started, and they put the wrong sized gutters on. We had 5-inch gutters. A roof of this size, we're supposed to have 6-inch gutters. So now we have wider gutters, and they're up like that much higher. It's crazy. It actually literally looks different. It looks normal now. You used to be able to see the corner of the actual roof, and now you don't. Now the gutters are up so much higher that it just looks normal. Like the gutter is the edge, and then like so. Yeah, we should be totally good now, but I don't want to find out the hard way and have to tear this shit all apart again, because it's just getting a little bit annoying. So yeah, there you go. There's a little bit of inside baseball for you. Oopfuck says, do you take stuff for giveaways? I do indeed. If you guys have some stuff that like you've been meaning to sell, but you don't have enough time to sell it, and you want to support me, send it on over. Message me somewhere. All my contact info is on CiottiFPV.com. I'll give you my address. You can send it on over, and I will include it in the giveaways. That is something that is super cool for you to do, and a bunch of folks have done over the years. Frank Nicholas is the biggest superstar when it comes to that. He's sent me tons of stuff that have really fueled the giveaways for a while. So yeah, thanks to him, thanks to the rest of you guys that have done that. It's super, super, super appreciated. Doubles FPV says, or like if you just have a bunch of stuff that you don't want to go to some stranger, you want to keep it in our little community here, that's a cool way of doing it. Doubles FPV says, I'm getting to Castle Crash next Thursday evening. Oh, shit. I'm going to be at Castle Crash on the 29th. You guys are going to have to wait until that following Monday. I think I'll be home. Yeah, I should be home by that Monday night. So yeah, we're going to have to do it on Monday night. That's okay. What's annoying is I changed the I changed the thumbnail to Fresh Gear Friday, and so I was like, oh, I got a thumbnail ready to go. Now I'm gonna have to go in and change it all back. Change it back. Doubles. I helped a little with the setup in the Whoop House last year. Would love to be more help this year. Let me know if I can help out. Absolutely, I will not turn down any help in getting everything set up in Whoop House, because it's not going to be that much work. It's definitely going to be less work than last year, because I'm going to keep it a lot simpler than last year. So that there's more space to not like hit stuff, and so there's more space to do bigger tricks. I've gone through that quite a bit in the basement here. There's a really fine line between having too many hanging gates and cube gates and just things to smack into, versus having it wide open so that you can do some like bigger tricks, some power loops, some Matty flips, some stalls, you know, all that kind of stuff. And so, yeah, that's going to be cool. I'm excited. Devin D says, have you got any updates on the 04 Lite you sent to DJI? My 04 Lite gave out yesterday, and when I put a ticket in, DJI replied that they're not sending shipping labels for 60 to 90 days. Yeah, don't send anything to DJI right now. Because, you know, the idiots in charge of our country right now have decided to try to make an example out of DJI, it seems. My 04 Lite is stuck there. They can't ship it back. Well, they could ship it back, but they would have to ship me back the broken one. So yeah, it's just stuck. They can't get the replacement parts. You don't ship it overseas. You ship it. They have a repair facility in California, but they can't get the replacement parts into the country, and so they're completely stuck. And so we're all kind of screwed. I think that I just saw an email the other day from Flywoo where they're offering to do repairs on 04 stuff. I didn't have a chance to read through the actual email to figure that out, though. So, but yeah, don't send anything to DJI. Tiny Hands McGillicuddy is, just trying to fuck everything up for everyone, I guess. I guess nobody can just live a semi-normal, happy life anymore. Like, everybody has to suffer because he has, no dick and Jake FPV says, some of my lightweight 65 millimeters, I'm running 26 AWG wire with no heat at all in the wire and no difference in flight feel, and it's much lighter. Interesting. I never thought about going down in wire gauge. Have you, so other than like, flight feel and the weight, have you done any other testing, like run a bunch of batteries on each and then compare the run times, or take a look at the RPM, do a bunch of full throttle blasts like you see me do, and then take a look at the RPM afterwards? Flight feel is super subjective, right? You go down to a thinner wire gauge, it gets a little bit lighter, but it does lose some thrust. When you're flying it, you don't feel it because it got a little bit lighter, but it is actually getting shorter run times, which you don't notice because run times are kind of all over the place, and stuff like that. Denzel the Terrible says, can you still get the Stan FPV ducts? You can indeed. They're on his website. McShaky says, Lululemon is racist. The owner named it for racist reasons. That's not good. I don't know. I didn't get hired by them. They're just the ones that put the event on. So, I don't know. I'm not going to get into it. I certainly won't buy any of their products, but I'm not a bitchy 40-year-old housewife. Jake FV says, honestly, no, I've not done too much, but I do get the same flight times as before on 22 AWG. That's pretty wild. What motors? You have big, mega powerful motors. As the motors become more and more and more powerful, the demands on the wire become more and more. And so on like a 32,000 kV happy model motor versus a 40,000, there could be a difference there. 0702 32,000 Fireflies. Cool. Well, Fireflies are 36,000 kV. The 32,000 kV motors are the what are they called? Time travelers? Whoop 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 travelers? I forget what they're called. Let's fly some batteries, yo. I'm dying to fly these brand new WeBleed batteries. I haven't flown a new battery in forever. Project Mockingbird's in the house, brother. I give you a shout out already, but thanks again for catching the that release date. I would absolutely be live streaming right now, flying these two motors, pissing off newbie drone. So, dude, thank you for that. Really, really, really good catch. Oh, for heaven's sakes. Heavens to Betsy. Project Mockingbird says, good evening. Just got done with my 6 batteries, 30,000 Beta FPV with mullet propped HQ. What's a mullet propped HQ? Frank Nicholas says, have you seen the South Park episode? Yeah, I have indeed. Those guys are just on the money. An episode might as well be a documentary. I mean, it's just right there. You know it's true. Jake PV says, shit, sorry, mix the KV with the WeBleeds. You're right. They're 36,000 KV. Wow, very cool. 36,000 KV is one of the highest KVs. Very cool. Project Mockingbird says, oh, no shit. Tries in the front, buys in the back. Wouldn't you want it the other way around? Mullet party in the front, fun in the back. Quad 66 dubbed it mullet props. Very cool. Himok says, going to build 3-inch 1S drone. Any tips on which AIO to get? Thanks. My first tip would be to not do that. 3-inch propellers are too big for 1S. It's like, can you do it? Yes. Is 2S going to perform better in every way? Absolutely. The 3-inch 1S thing, it's kind of like, it strikes me as one of these like, look at me, look how extreme this build is, but then you fly it and it's like, yeah, it's extreme, all right. It's extremely underpowered and overpropped. 1S, you're like, look, I don't even like 1S on 1.6-inch props, let alone 3-inch props, right? Like, for me, 1S is for 1.2-inch props, and that's it. With a toothpick build, which is probably what you're looking at doing, it's a little bit different because the frame is going to be a little bit lighter per, it doesn't have prop guards, right? It's going to be a little bit more efficient because it's a toothpick build versus a tiny whoop build. But still, going from 1S to 2S is going to get you way more power, way more motor selection, way more efficiency. Like, everything is going to be better by doing that build on 2S. And, like, by the fact that you don't have an AIO already, just, like, it sounds like you might have motors already. That's okay. Like, you either sell them or use them for something else, but boy, are you going to be so much happier with the way a 2 or even 3S 3-inch build flies versus 1S. It's just, you're really like way over the performance envelope of that 4.35 volt cell when you're all the way up onto a 3-inch propeller. So that's my recommendation. I'm certain that that's not the answer that you wanted to get, but it's the answer that you deserve because, you're gonna love a 2S 3-inch build in comparison to a 1S 3-inch build. Which AIO do you get? I mean, that's tough. It kind of depends. Do you want to run an external VTX? Do you want to run an external receiver? If you wanted to have it be the simplest possible build, you could do an X12, a Happy Model X12 AIO. That's 1S or 2S. And then hell, you could even build it as a 1S, see how bad it flies, and then put a 2S lead on it and run it as a 2S and be like, oh my god, this does everything better. I love this. So yeah, the X12 has the VTX on board. It's got ELRS on board. It's going to be a super simple build. You just, throw a little BT 3.0 battery on it and away you go. That would be pretty cool. If you wanted to do HD, you would not want to run that AIO. Yeah, there's too many questions for me to suggest anything else. But if you wanted to do an analog ELRS build, the X12 would be awesome for that. 12 amp AIOs should be okay up to a 3-inch prop. Yeah. Because 12 amp, 12 per channel. So 12, 24, 36, 48 amps total. That's a lot. Denzel the Terrible says business in the front party. I thought that was... what the other person said, I was like, is that the saying for mullet? Not quite. It was close. Business in the front, party in the back. That's it. That's the proper saying. McBucas says, what's the good way to remove liquid electrical tape from my CO2 camera? Brother, there is no good way of removing liquid electric tape. The companies that use that make me want to cry. There is... in theory, liquid electric tape is sort of the right... from like from the perspective of nobody is ever going to have to work on this or remove this, liquid electric tape is totally fine. From the perspective of FPV is something where everyone always works on everything forever, no matter what, because we crash and shit breaks, it is the absolute worst thing that they could possibly use, and it drives me insane. So, yeah. At this point, if I buy something that has liquid electric tape on it, I never buy it again. That's my solution to that issue. The best luck I've had with it is my fucking fingernail. Like just sitting there with my fingernail like a complete asshole is really the only way that I've found to safely remove it. And boy, I've tried kind of everything. Teddy, where'd you go? Ah, there you are, buddy. Come here. Come here. I don't think I showed you guys his haircut. Hey. Just be cool. Just be cool. It's okay when I pick you up. It's fine. Look at this boy. Don't step on that. Look at him. Look at this body. Look at this skinny little dog body. I can't put you on the table. You're too weird. And look, it's like slapping a chicken cutlet. Oh, he didn't like that. You love it when I slap your little butt. You just don't like being up on the chair. Yeah, he's looking good. At first, it was a little drastic because he was fluffy. But I love when he gets like really fluffy. But he gets really matted, and like once he starts to get matted, it's just over. And then if he gets too matted, they have to shave him all the way down, and then he looks awful. So it's worth it. Shoujo with a $10 super chat. Thank you so much, dude. He says FPV is awesome, right? It is indeed. Thank you, brother. If anybody wants to donate to this, not that we may ever be able to get DJI 04 Pros again, in your super chat in the comments, say, yo, this is for that. Otherwise, I'll just take your money and spend it on drugs. Not the fun kind, though. I'm a 44-year-old kind. Where are we at here? McBucas says, what's the good way to... Oh, no, got that. FPV says, it's business up front, party up back. Cole Power says, and for Zoolander pilots out there, tri-blades on the props that turn right, bi-blades on the props that turn left. Yikes. What's funny is the PID loop would just handle it like you wouldn't really know. It might not fly as good it would certainly not fly as good that way, but you would barely notice it in the goggles. FPV says, good 2S whoop frames, thinking 75 millimeters. Good, because there are no 65 millimeter 2S whoop frames, nor should there be. My favorite is the Happy Model Mobula 7 V3. That is my favorite 2S Tiny Whoop frame. The other option is if you have the BetaFPV, I forget what the amperage is of the ESC, but the BetaFPV AIO that works with 2S, which doesn't have a USB port on the bottom. It has a JST plug on top, and then you have to use a little dongle thing. If you have that AIO, you can use the Mobula 7 V4 frame, and then you just cut two of the little supports out in the battery tray. So yeah, those are my two favorite options. There is an HDLRC frame. I don't suggest that you get it. And then for 2-inch builds, there's the Mobula 8, the Happy Model Mobula 8 frame, which I've had pretty good luck with. And then HDLRC has a frame as well. I have not had luck with either of those HDLRC frames. The motor holes, the motor mount holes are not drilled correctly, and then the ducts are pulled inwards, and so most flight controllers smash into the ducts. And HDLRC in general, like their products have been almost 100% dog shit for me. So I don't mess with any of their stuff anymore. Jake FPV says, yeah, I messed the business in the front up. No worries, brother. We're all getting old, man. It's all good. Project Mockingbird says, got a BetaFPV Matrix in the mail yesterday, and the Dingus UFL for VX is liquid electric tape. I GERD. Yep, they are indeed. Luckily, there's a UFL plug on top, so you can just rip the UFL plug off, and it'll take most of the electrical tape, the liquid electric tape off with it. But you'll still have a little bit of liquid electric tape around the bottom and even the sides of the UFL, which I've never been able to get off, and it's just so goddamn dumb. You know, with the BetaFPV Matrix board though, in my and many of your experience though, it's just gonna blow up pretty quickly anyway. So you'll only be upset for a little while before it ends up in a landfill. So I hope yours doesn't, but it will. So Cole Powers says, haven't used liquid electric tape or dealt with it, but did you try wood toothpicks? Yep. I would think they would have a bit of give, much like a fingernail. They do. The problem with the wood toothpicks is they're not like wide enough to... Oh boy, is this hard to like... So like if this is your fingernail, right? Your fingernail has enough width to scrape enough of the liquid electric tape to get it to like actually release. The wood toothpick, since it's just like this, it just kind of like moves it out of the way. It doesn't act like a shovel, and you need something that's like a little shovel. I thought that this little spudger, this little plastic spudger that Frank Nicholas sent me forever ago would work really well, but it doesn't. Something about my fingernail just like is the only thing that works. Yeah, the wood toothpicks, like they just mangle the liquid electric tape. It's very sticky. Like it's like this, and like the wood toothpick just like, and then there's just a bunch of little towers of liquid electric tape. Whereas your fingernail gets in there and it pulls those towers up, I guess you could say. I don't know. Ginger FPVRC. I mean, for the most part, though, you're not getting it off anyway. Like fingernail, no fingernail, wood toothpick, power drill. It's really difficult to get off. Much like my Ginger FPVRC says, thank you for being an amazing human being. FPV saved my life. Thank you. My pleasure, man. Thank you for supporting me so that I can do this full time. Himok says, now I'm convinced to go with 2S since I already have the charger. What about XT30 versus BT 3.0? XT30 is going to give you more battery options, but it's heavier. BT 3.0, there are some really good batteries for it, and it's lighter, and it's pretty awesome. I'm super impressed with BT 3.0. You know what I really like about BT 3.0? You can't plug it in backwards. XT30s will, I was about to say pretty easily, but like, I don't know if I could. If you're in a hurry, you can easily plug an XT30 in backwards and blow up a flight controller, AIO, ESC, whatever. BT 3.0, you'll never do that, and I really dig that about it. So yeah, BT 3.0 for me. XT30, the connector itself is ever so slightly heavier, but then you have to have balanced leads. And so on a 2S battery, you've got 3 thick wires running off, and then the plug itself and the little connectors that are crimped on. And it matters. It makes a difference. Hey, look at that. I'm caught up. Cool. Now we can fly. Is this working? Yeah, it is. All right, so we're going to do the old batteries first. Reason being is I'm actually giving the old batteries the best possible chance that I can of them not performing like absolute ass. And I'm going to pull them right off the charger. The new batteries I charged a couple hours ago. So they've been sitting here kind of settling into, whatever. I'm actually interested to see what the difference is in voltage when we plug them in. The old beat up batteries are going to be fresh off the charger. Let's run. So we have to run the same rig all night. This is a Hummingbird V4 with moved over to the Meteor 65 Pro frame. So it's got the bigger propellers on it, and it's a little bit heavier because of the bigger frame. And I haven't flown it in a while. And so, and I think it's, yeah, there's nothing really to break on it. So the camera mount's not going to break. This frame has been pretty durable. And so, and these newbie drone motors are really power hungry too. I'm tempted to run this guy that's got the 40,000 kV motors and the Air 2 frame, because it feels like this Air 2 frame is never going to break, but this canopy could very easily break, and that would screw the testing up. The other option is this guy with the bomb-proof canopy, but again, this is on the light AF frame, and that could break, and that would be super annoying. Any keen-eyed viewers notice this guy? It's looked like that for a while. It is a little bit different. What hasn't looked like this for a while is this. The flight controller is all set up now. It's got a Pro 32 VTX on it, ELRS receiver, and I even put these very cool little LEDs from Tiny's LEDs onto it, which are, I think he calls them saddlebag LEDs. They're set up to hang off of the 20x20 stack. This flight controller has on all 4 corners LED, 5 volt, and ground. 1, 2, 3 on the corner there, right in the middle of the screen, and then 4. Unfortunately, these LEDs are not addressable. I don't have any addressable LEDs, which kind of annoys me. But yeah, I've had these little saddlebag LED things sitting for a while. So one of them's facing forward, the other one's facing backwards. It's red facing backwards and purple facing forwards. I'm running a purple camera on this. It's the Runcam Sparrow 2, I think. And so, yeah, I thought it would be kind of cool to get all LED'd up with it. This is my frame. This is my 3-inch frame that Ryan Harold designed for me. And it's just been kind of sitting around for way too long. This build has looked similar to this. At some point a while ago, I put the ESC in here and I soldered up the race wires and put these old school RCX 1304 5000 kV motors on it. But then it just sat. I just lost the will to live and work on it anymore. Little. So if you're on my Instagram, you might have seen it earlier. The ESC in here is an old ass hack RC ESC, which I couldn't find any info on. No wire out, no pinouts, nothing. There is a model number stamped on here, but a couple of the numbers and letters are upside down, and then when I search for it, it doesn't exist. It also says it has 32-bit stamped on it, but then the plug header only has six pins. So this ESC is basically cursed. I don't know if it was like, I'm pretty sure that I got this ESC from FPV Crate. So I don't know. If it only has 6 pins on the plug header, there's no way that it can be BL-Heli-32, because the 6 pins are power, ground, motor 1, 2, 3, 4. In order to do BL-Heli-32, it would have to have a TX or pin to transmit that data to the flight controller. So super weird, man. Well, and so then the plug header was not silk screened for me to know what each pin was. I did sit there and kind of follow the traces, and I was like, I'm pretty sure that these are the power and ground, and I was right. But it was still kind of freaky to trust that. And so what I realized is I just took a 6-pin plug header that had bare wires sticking out of it. And then the power and ground are always, not necessarily, but every single ESC I've ever seen, which is a whole hell of a lot of them, the power and ground are on either one side or the other. They're never in the middle. That would be insane. And so take those bare wires, take your multimeter, plug a battery into the ESC. There are now 2 wires on that thing that are outputting full battery voltage. And so you sit there with the multimeter and you take the farthest left 2 wires and you put the probes on it, and then you look for full battery voltage. Well, on one side or the other, you're going to find full battery voltage. Well, now you still don't know which one's positive and which one's ground. That's easy. On your multimeter, there's a negative if it's wired backwards, and there's no negative if it's wired correctly. So when the little plug header that I hooked up there had ground on the outside and then power next to it. And when I hooked the probes up correctly, there was a negative. So sure enough, those wires were backwards. So it's actually voltage on the outside and ground right next to it. I thought that was kind of cool. Super simple, electronics 101. But I'm not great with electronics, believe it or not. They scare me. And I've never done any formal training whatsoever on anything like that. So realizing little stuff like that for me is like, yeah, I can do things. So there you go. If you haven't, that sort of thing is going to happen more and more. These manufacturers do a horrible job of keeping any documentation on file. And so we usually have to rely on like Google Images to find some of the pinouts for this stuff. So and they're also horrible about stamping any information or silkscreen any information on these components. So you're going to have an ESC one day that you have absolutely no idea what the hell it is. But luckily, all you really need to do is figure out where the power and ground are. And then if it's an 8-pin plug header, it is a little bit annoying because you're going to have to hook up 4 motor wires, and then you're just going to have to see if all 4 motors spin, right? Because I have seen ESCs where they run all 4 motor leads in the middle 4 pins. I've also seen it where they run them off on the side, and then the TX and current are here, and then the power and ground are here. So that's going to be a little bit annoying. But as long as you don't send full voltage into the pads on the flight controller that are expecting motor signal, you're not going to blow anything up. You're just going to have to take it apart a couple times. So there you go. All right, friends. Let's get to flying. Old batteries first. We're going to fly this thing. Newbie drone, Hummingbird V4, Brain canopy, Newbie drone BI camera. This is actually a Flywoo ultralight whip antenna that WeBleed sent me for testing. It works. It works totally fine. It's a little bit lighter than a normal whip antenna, which is cool because then you don't feel bad leaving the metal ground plane attached, right? The newbie drone, Hummingbird 0702 30,000 kV motors, Gem Fan 35mm S propellers, and then Betaflight Meteor 65 Pro frame. I also haven't flown one of these 1.4-inch props in a little while, and they're very fun. They're slow. They have mega hang time. They're really cool to fly. And so let's dive in, my friends. Oh hey, I got the 3D printer just absolutely cranking on PETG. I don't have anything to show you because I keep installing the things that I'm printing with it into my filament rolls. So this is what I've been printing so far with the PETG. I showed this off. I showed you guys the Bamboo Labs profile for these. These go on the inside of the filament reels, and they're super duper vented. And then you put silica in there. So I've got I've been saving silica packets for the last like 15-20 years. And so now I'm cramming all my silica packets in here. It's got these little outer area for a little bit of extra airflow. And then, yeah, your filament stays dry. And what I find to be really cool about these is when you take this out and you put it into your filament dryer, you leave this in it. And the filament gets dried out the silica gets dried out along with the filament. You don't have to put your silica in the oven and worry about killing children. Is that what happens? So yeah, I've printed 6 of the damn things already. They're pretty cool. After I have 2 more. I've got 2 more to print, and then I'm going to print a toilet, and then I'm going to print a little piece to hold my PSVR 2 headset on the side of the sim rig. And then I think I'm done with PETG for a little while. I can put TPU back in there. So yeah, the printer, the 3D printer has, the more that I've run it, the better behaved it's become. When I started printing the PETG, it was knocking the prints off of the print bed. I kept cleaning it, and then all of a sudden it stopped, and it's been totally fine. Like, I've done 8 or 9 prints in a row, and it's been absolutely perfect every single time. So I don't know, man. The 3D printer, maybe it just didn't like sitting. It did sit for a couple months, and then when I went to use it again is when I was having all these problems. So maybe I just need to 3D print more stuff. I don't know. So head on over to CiottiFPV.burp and go to my Etsy store and buy some of the 3D printed stuff so that I can run this thing so it doesn't make me want to jump off a building. I'm now behind on chat again, so hold on. We're going to wait to fly. Where are we at here? Hammock says... Nope, we got that. Frantically says, yes, HackRC did come in FPV crate. I either have one I've never used, or I sent you one I never used. These two, so I had a build bag for this rig that the entire build was stuff from FPV crate. So like, I'm pretty sure that the HackRC ESC came from FPV crate. What's weird though is that if you search HackRC 20x20 ESC FPV crate, it finds it, and it says BL Heli S, which is correct. It says 35 amp, but this picture is not right. This doesn't look the same as what I have, and this is an 8-pin plug. And this ESC I am able to find on HackRC's website, but this is absolutely not the ESC that I have. So I don't know, man. I was sort of sponsored by them, and so maybe they sent sponsors like weird stuff. I don't know, man. But this is not it. This is absolutely not the ESC. Well, actually, this is a completely different ESC than this. So we're like all over the place. But yeah, super weird. Super weird. I have a funny feeling that I'm going to fly it for the first time and it's going to explode. And that's fine. This build was to test this frame, to crash the shit out of this frame, to see how long it lasts. And so if the ESC blows up pretty quick, that's fine. This thing is going to get torn up. I mean, it's not fine. It's super annoying, but it's not the end of the world. I'm going to be flying this in places that are very recoverable because I'm going to fly it like a complete lunatic and just crash the living hell out of it to see what breaks first on the frame. So yeah, there's that, which is cool. Cole Power says 30-bit is undoubtedly the native instruction length of the microcontroller. Does not need 32 pins. What? Oh, wait. Can BLHeli32 come up through the motor wires? I thought the... Oh, I'm thinking of current. I'm thinking of the current wire. I'm thinking of the current wire. It's not a TX wire. It's a current wire. Oh, yeah. So I guess it is BLHeli32. Oh, no. It's BLHeli32. I'm not going to be able to update it or anything. Oh, fuck me, dude. Well... There's a chance that this ESC is on a new enough version of BLHeli32 that will have RPM filtering. Oh, man. That sucks, dude. I've got an Acon. I've got two Acon 30x30 35 amp indestructible ESCs that are on such an old version of BLHeli32 that they don't have RPM filtering. And I'm not going to run them. Like, RPM filtering is a big deal. And so, yeah, that sucks. And I'm afraid that this one's going to be the same. How the hell has nobody figured that out yet? How is there not a way of taking BLHeli32 ESCs and updating them? That's really annoying. And if nobody's done it by now, nobody's going to do it. Hemlock says, what BT 3.0 good lipos do you recommend? I can only see the Tiny Whoop, which I can't get, and Betaflight 450 and 550, which is a bit too heavy. Those are the only ones, so do XT30 if you can't get the Tiny Whoops. The Tiny Whoop ones are good. The Betaflight 450s are okay, but they are heavy as hell. So yeah, go XT30. Fractically says, what model, or message me a picture of the Hack RC flight controller. The model number is on the bottom, and I just took a whole bunch of time to get this mounted, so I can't send that. But this is what the top looks like. But yeah, I spent about an hour last night searching for it, so you're not going to find it. The really weird thing about this ESC is that the motor mount pads, every single Hack RC ESC that I could find, the ESC comes up like this. Hold on. Shit all over the place on my desktop. The ESC comes up like this. It rounds around the 20x20 holes, and then it's a soft 90-degree angle, and then it comes up like this, and it's got the little pockets for the wires to sit in. You know, this ESC comes up like that, and then it goes straight across. There's no indentations. And yeah, like I said, the model number on it, there's numbers printed backwards and there's numbers printed upside down. And when I searched for that model number, there's just nothing. It just doesn't exist. So yeah, super weird. But I mean, whatever. I'm gonna batter the living shit out of this thing and blow it up anyway, so kind of doesn't matter. and I figured out what the pins are, so all's well that ends well. And it's 6-pin. There's not a single Hack RC ESC that has a 6-pin plug header. They're all 8-pin. Super weird. Tamava says, I've ended up with an HD0 AIO5 with RC and power 702 27,000 kV motors. Frame they came in was pretty beat up, 65 millimeter, not sure which. What frame and canopy would you throw this in? My favorite frames at the moment are the Newbie Drone Light AF, the BetaFPV Air 65 V2, and the Newbie Drone Cockroach V3. And then my favorite canopy is the old school Mobula 6 and the 3D printed Brain, which is available on my Etsy store. Denzel the Turbo says, did CiottiFPV just say he's going to print a toilet? I did indeed. Jake FPV says, so what was the issue? Did it just need to be cleaned with Dawn? No. It just needed to be run, apparently. Super weird. Morton Upshot says, how do they fasten? Glad to see you got it dialed in. Dumb luck, or did you just find a better profile? No, it's running fine. I've tried it on the profile that comes with the silica thing, and I've tried it on the totally default profile, and I can't tell a difference. Literally, the more that I've used it, the more reliable it's been. And at this point, I've done, I think, 8 plates in a row with not a single problem. I forgot. There was something that helped significantly, which was I started printing by object rather than by layer, which is kind of annoying because when you print by object, you can't put as much stuff on the plate. So I'm having to do more. I'm doing shorter prints, but I'm doing them more often. But yeah, printing one object, sometimes I can fit 2 per plate. But yeah, having it print the entire object made a massive difference. And that very well, but see, for my first 6 months with the damn thing, I printed by layer and it was totally fine. So I don't know, man. It's super weird, but it's working now. So, and the default bamboo profiles work great. I'd made like tiny little adjustments to the profile, but that didn't. That had nothing to do with it. Fred Douglas says, check your messages on iMessage. That is not the one. That's the one that I saw all over the place, and I have one of those from FPV Crate. But yeah, that's not the one. This is a 20 by 20 only. Oh, another plug or another picture. Yeah, those that you've got are all 30 by 30. This is 20 by 20. Maybe it didn't come from FPV Crate. I don't know. Morton Upshot says, last I saw, the printer shat itself. I think there is a revival of BL32. That would be amazing. Cole Power says, isn't there a project that replaced BL32? Yeah, AM32, but it's not plug and play. Cole Power says, yep, AM32. Not sure if it's a direct flash upgrade for BL32. Is not, but at least it's an open source project to replace in the future. Yep, yeah, like, we're fine. We're fine with AM32, but it's just the old BL32s that we've got floating around. We can't update them, and that sucks. Morton Upshot says, there's a Maztec video recently. Need to rewatch it. BL32 is back. It's all still shit. Let's upgrade the Outback Tracker Q&A more. Yeah, you can wire to those infinitely small little round pads on BL32 ESCs and then update it to AM32, but it's really difficult, and I'm not willing to go down that insane rabbit hole. Plus, soldering to those little pads, it's super easy to bridge stuff that can't be bridged, And so, yeah. McBuca says, I run all my 2S builds on two BT 2.0 300 mAh batteries using the Betaflight 2X pigtail. Works great. Yep, that's what I did on the tiny lifters way back when, and it's always worked totally fine. It's a little bit sketchy because, like, if you plug one battery in that's fresh and one battery in that's been cycled 100 times, you know, the one battery is going to sag like hell and the other one's not. But it absolutely works. I forgot to mention that as another option. The main problem with doing that is how do you hold those two batteries in a way that they're not going to, like, flop all over the damn place. So, yeah. Morning Upshot says, buy object is best if one fails. They don't both fail, and you don't cross paths as much, less collision. Don't be greedy. They will print better. And then Cole Powers says, 3D print a jig for a custom DIN connector to flash those PCBs. That's what those tiny pads are for. A custom DIN connector. Well, the pads are in different... The pads tend to be in different locations, I thought. Do I really not have another ESC floating around? There's one. Yeah, the little pads are all over the goddamn place. And, like, when I say they're small, like, that's not me being a wuss. Like, they are small. Like, they are really, really, really small, right? Like there's my fingernail. They're just, it's just wild. And, like, they're not labeled, and it's just, yeah. Any BLHeli32 stuff I have, it'll be run on whatever version of the firmware it's on. Eventually it'll blow up because all ESCs blow up, and away we go. All right, now we're going to fly. Not fresh off the charger, but these old-ass batteries have come off the charger way more recently than the fresh WeBleed batteries. So, again, 1.4-inch build. I'm hoping that the bigger props and these really powerful motors will make this very obvious. First up is... You know what? Screw these lava batteries. Or maybe we'll run the lava batteries last. Let's run these old WeBleed and Tattoo batteries. First up is this Tattoo battery. Get in there. All right. Here we go. Hey. Ready, friends? Let's get some. Here we go. Where's my OST? We have to make our visit! Our sacred visit to Beardy McBeards a lot over here. Oh! Alright, Tattoo battery. Power's okay. Oh my god. Battery is sagged down a little bit. I should have done this earlier in the battery life, but... Oh my god, I got really lucky there. It actually came off set point for a second there. It kind of dropped an arm. It's Lil Boo's birthday tomorrow. 48,000 RPM. Just to get us in the ballpark. Thing's flying a little bit weird. Oh, god damn it. I turned the fan on before because I wanted the fan on. Somebody turned it off. Ah! No! Oh god, it's making a noise. What's this noise it's making? Come on now. Are you kidding me? Oh, it's just hair. It's a hair noise. It's the noise of a hairball. There we go. That's better. Alright, let's keep going. So there's our first low voltage warning. We're just going to keep going until... Son of a bitch! Until we get constant low battery warnings. God damn you. Well, no, let's not do that. Let's do 3.4 volts at a hover. We're almost there. 3.4 at a hover. Time to come in. Oh, that's where the low voltage warning is. 2 minutes exactly. Look at that. Not very good. Old battery. All right, so we got 2 minutes. Can somebody say I'll do it in chat that's willing to keep track of these numbers? 2 minutes for the tattoo. And whatever that are, don't even worry about that RPM. Here comes 2 WeBleed batteries in a row. I'm going to go straight upstairs and we're going to get that RPM value. And then we're going to switch over to the fresh batteries. Here we go. And fair warning, the Bamboo Lab A1 mini problems that I've been having very well could have been my fault. I did a couple stupid things, like turn the nozzle up to 300 degrees Celsius. And just, you know, in general, it was my first 3D printer ever. All right, that was a big one. It actually dropped an arm again. 50,600 RPM. That's a much better number. So somebody write that down, please. Oh, almost hit Sage in the face. I avoided him in style, yo. Oh, jeez, that happened quick. Nah, what am I doing? Oh, stop that. Come on, let me fly. Oh, Teddy boy. You were almost a victim of, I don't know, homicide? Aircraft homicide? Really? You gotta be fucking kidding me. Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. How is it possible? Never mind. Oh no! How can I not get through these massive cubes? Massive ass! It's a soundbite from Jimmy Broadbent's live streams. I'm gonna run it down a little farther. We're already at 1 minute and 40, so. Oh my god! Kind of chickened out on that one. Yo, that looked gnarly. Holy shitballs. Oh, why did I do that? Almost there. We're there. Well, no. I got another second. Nope, there it is. All right. Wow, yeah. 2 minutes and 5 seconds. Hopefully somebody's writing stuff down. Thank you, guys. All right. One more old battery, and then we're going to the new ones. And we're going to see what the difference is. Here we go. Oh, this one feels better already. All right. Oh, no, no! Jesus. Dropped an arm again. Let's check the RPM. 51,054. So 51,000. 50 and 51,000 realistically are the numbers that matter. I chickened out. I wanted to let it drop down, but I didn't. All right. Little tiny loop around the upstairs. What you know about that? Yeah, buddy! Ooh! 1.4-inch props, man. They give you a little bit more time. A little bit more hang time, a little bit more... Whoa, boy! Thank you, Crash Recovery. Just gonna shut up and fly for a minute. Ah! As soon as I did that. As soon as I stopped talking. Oh, Teddy. You're laying down on the job, I see. Oh, God, I love it! Alright, do a little bit of chill flying. I just did a probably a little bit more full throttle madness on this battery than the other ones. But I think this battery felt a little bit stronger. So I bet you it'll run for 2 minutes. Look at me go. Up! We're there. 3.4. Yep, there we are. And there it is, 2 minutes. Well, that's pretty that's pretty good data right there. 2 minutes, 2 minutes, 2 minutes. All right, here we go. Fresh battery. WeBleed FPV 300 mAh BT 2.0. I've had such good luck with these batteries over the years. They've been really solid, really consistent. And comparing these to the tattoos, I've had these last longer, and I've had like I've thrown less of these away. Oh God, yeah, okay, yeah, that's that, yeah. The hover, woo! I might need to adjust the throttle expo. The hover point is noticeably lower. Here we go. I didn't quite get the full run that I wanted to in 51,000. Let me see if I can get it a little bit better. No, don't crash up there. Oh my God. The battery was discharged down a little bit there from doing it once, but we got to leave a little bit more, 51,396. So there we go. Next battery I will wait, no, hold on. Next battery I will do that from fresh. Oh, I slapped the ground. Let's try again. No, let's not, because I only did one of those on the previous batteries. Yeah, I can tell. God damn you. Oh! Oh! Hey! Where'd that dog go? There he is. Chicken legs and a dog. What else could you need from life? Look at him. It's like a fist fight between Teddy and the thrust that the quad produces. Oh, that was sloppy. On every other battery, I've used turtle mode, and turtle mode does count towards the runtime, which is not great. And when it's doing that, it's only spinning one motor. So that kind of... I haven't crashed yet to need to use turtle mode. Are we there? 3, 4, 1. Not that much more runtime. 2 minutes and 15. Definitely feels more powerful though. The amount of milliamps that go into a battery should not change. Well, the number of milliamps that come out of a battery should not change. As a battery gets older, all right. So either Canon webcam utility is about to crash or YouTube is about to crash. I'm gonna force restart YouTube here to hopefully fix this. Boy, YouTube makes it hard to live stream. All right, we should be better. So yeah, I'm kind of surprised to see that much extra runtime from it. What it could be is since the battery is fresher and the internal resistance is better, it's not sagging as much. And then that, so on the beat old batteries, they're going to sag more and sag down to 3.4, at which point I'm coming in and landing. The fresh batteries are going to sag less. But yeah, I'm kind of surprised to see 15 extra seconds of runtime. That's pretty cool. The difference on the sticks is noticeable. I wish I'd paid attention to my hover throttle voltage, throttle value rather. Let's do another one. Well, you know what? I know I can figure that out. So I've been flying this. Well, in theory, I've flown this build enough where I have the throttle expo set properly. So I'm going to reset the throttle expo right now. Here's how you do it. Here's how you figure out what your throttle midpoint should be for throttle expo. If you want to dive into this, you should search my YouTube channel with the little magnifying glass on there for throttle expo and watch the whole thing. But wait, no. I'm going to go upstairs and do the full throttle run again. Hold on. I want to do this full throttle run on a fresh battery. Here we go. Oh, get in there. Oh my god, I cannot believe I just crashed. 52,579. I cannot believe I just crashed this. Oh, what are you doing, you donkey? Oh no. Come on now. Yes. I don't know what I just said, but I know it was 52,000 something. That's awesome. All right, so here's how you find your midpoint. You cruise around at your normal speed with your throttle percentage in the OSD, and you just look at it when you're cruising. 34, 33, 34, 33. Not when you're turning, not when you're doing tricks, but when you're cruising. 34, 33. 36 I saw for a second, 35. So I'm going to set it. So now you land. You pitch forward and yaw left at the same time. You go into profile. You come down to rate. You go up to go to the bottom. And then, wow, the expo amount is on 50. That's an awful lot. Let me turn that down a little bit. That's the amount, but what you want is at the bottom, which you can't see because my desk is white. At the bottom, throttle mid. And see the midpoint is set to 32. I'm actually going to bump it up. It was pretty close. That was almost right. So that's actually fine. It feels like the hover throttle is... See, here's the problem. When I previously set that midpoint at 32, I might have been in like a little bit spicier of a mood that day, and I might have been flying a little bit faster. And so setting that throttle midpoint is more about feel. You set the midpoint in there, and then you fly it, and you see how it feels. You should be able to... Come on. You should be able to feel the difference, especially if you're doing like 40 or 50 amount of throttle expo, the actual amount. You should be able to feel small changes. I can tell you that this feels better. And it's just, it is really like a better or worse kind of scenario, because like if that midpoint is wrong, it feels bad, man. Like it's just, it doesn't feel good when that midpoint is not set properly. Because you lose a big chunk of throttle resolution. And this just feels like you should, like, you'll just feel like a hero because you're not bouncing around. Your elevation is not like bouncing around. The way that you can really test it is by flying low to the ground. If you can fly low to the ground without like bashing into the ground all the time, you can still bash into cube gates. Come on, you fart bag. There we go. Your throttle expo is set proper. Wow, Teddy. That's ridiculous. Hold on, let me hover it for a second. All right, so I ran this battery down a little bit farther, but I just saw a big number for the runtime, 2 minutes and 34 seconds. Jesus. But I did run that battery down a little bit lower. Let's keep going. We got 4 more. Yeah, these feel better. These feel like fresh batteries, if I'm totally honest. Hold on, I've got a massive hairball in this one motor. That can't have been helping things. Oh my god, no, I got hairballs in 2 motors. Hold on. It's so bad that I'm literally going to have to pull this propeller off to get it out of there. Man, that's significant. I can't believe there's that much of a difference in the runtime. I thought the main difference would just be like the flight feel. I thought it was going to be really hard for me to show you guys the difference, right? Because it's a feel thing. Like, it feels more consistent. It feels like there's less sag through the life of the battery. That's pretty cool that we were able to see such a change. Huge thank you to WeBleed, Zotac, for sending these batteries over. This live stream and a bunch of giveaways coming up are sponsored by him for sending this stuff over. I do have an affiliate link to WeBleed over on CiottiFPV.com. So if you're going to go snag yourself some new batteries because you're like, yeah, mine are old, and I've been swearing to God that they feel like shit, but I've been blaming myself and getting better as a pilot, use my affiliate link if you don't mind. Using my affiliate link also shows these websites that I'm like a popular YouTuber person that people actually like watch and listen to and believe in. You know what I mean? So it's all good things. You save, you make the content creator that you're watching some money. Look at how long this hair is. Holy shit! Oh my god! And it's green, so it's azaleas. Yeah, affiliate links are important nowadays. I know you might not want to hear that, but it's the truth. These companies do look at them and pay attention to them. Okay, that propeller's back on. By the way, when I started flying this thing, it didn't have any hair in the props. It was nice and clean. I've picked all of this hair up. I've picked all of this hair up from the stairwell. That's where like all the hair is. And unfortunately, I crashed there a lot. Oh, oh, oh. That's a big old blob. One of the other reasons wow, that's another big chunk of hair here. One of the other reasons I chose this rig is that these Newbie Drone 0702s, even though they say that they're 30,000 kV, they're like hot, man. These motors make a lot of power. These are the motors that are on the Newbie Drone race. That's like ridiculous. And so these high kV, high power motors with these bigger 1.4 inch props, it's really taxing the battery, and that's what I wanted. I wanted to push these batteries hard to for these differences to be as drastic as possible, as easily noticeable as possible. This is the hair that came out. There's that big blob. Look at that thing. All right, let's see here. First, I'm gonna take this hair off from in front of my desk where I take off from, and put it in the garbage can so that I don't immediately either suck it back into the motors or blow it back onto the floor where I'll then suck it back into the motors. All right, it's now in the garbage can. Next! Hold on. Stop it. There we go. All right, another one. Here we go. Wait a second. Let's run one of these Betaflight lava batteries, actually. These have a lot less cycles on them than the first 3 batteries that we ran. But I have been running these. I wouldn't be surprised if these batteries have... I mean, they could have as low as like 20 or 30 cycles on them. They could have 50 or 60. Kind of depends. It's super hard to tell. Some of these lava batteries just sat for a while. And so, yeah. And they've come into me at different times. So here we go, straight upstairs for the RPM test. Nope, don't do that. Relax. Just relax. Get it over here. Oh, God. Oh, boy. That was not a good one. I'll have to do it again on the next battery. 50,500. So they're doing a little bit better than the really work batteries. I'm not even going to bother to do another one. I am going to do a full rim power loop. Ah, I got carried away. Oh, God, no. All right, let's do it. Oh, shit. Oh, balls. Hey. Oh, my God. Oh, I can't believe I kept that thing in the air. Holy shit. You. When I say that I fly flat, that's what I mean. Coordinate your sticks. It looks way better. Oh, God! All right, we did some flat flying. Let's do some big tricks. Oh, shit. Jeez. Woo! Oh, no. Get off of there. I'm flying all right tonight. Oh, nope. Oh! What was that? That was a little weird. That didn't go as planned. I had other ideas for that little line. Whoop. Is that it? No way. Minute and 51. 4.2, 4.1. A little bit more. Damn it. 3.41. There we go. 2 minutes and 9 seconds. There we go. You know, it's funny. Like, I always expect that, like, I'm going to do this testing and it's going to be, like, impossible to kind of show you guys and like, I'm going to look like an idiot. This is kind of perfect. The batteries that I know that I've cycled the living hell out of got the least, are getting the lowest RPMs and the least runtime. These that are somewhere in the middle are doing a little bit better, and then the fresh ones are doing the best. So every once in a while, I don't look like a complete idiot. So yeah, I mean that's great. That's I'm actually a little bit surprised at how well the old batteries did. These old WeBleeds, they held up really well, man. Like, these might be over a year old. I should write down. They're both red marker. I should be writing down like the date when I'm markering these batteries. Oh man, I almost Stevie Wondered this whole battery. Man, I can immediately tell with the fresh batteries. Like when I take off, it jumps up in the air, and then the hover point is just different. That wasn't as full of a blast, but let's just take a look anyway. 51,042. Yeah, I bailed on that blast a little bit earlier. Oh! Sometimes I try to... Whoa! Sometimes I try to fly the 1.4-inch builds the same way that I fly the... Oh, that was just so dumb. The same way that I fly the 1.2-inch builds, and it just doesn't work. Like, you have to fly them differently. These are more floaty. These are slower. When I try to do like the really fast stuff with these, they don't like it. They want to be flown a little more sort of chill almost. But that's the nature of these builds. Like the bigger props. Whoa, that was cool. I bounced off the front of the cube. The nature of these props and just the way that they kind of feel. Oh wait, I haven't done any like chill cruising yet. Is the way that you should fly them. And then like the 1.2-inch prop builds, they're better suited for the... Jesus fucking Christ, are you kidding me? They're better suited for like the Razor's Edge super Captain Insano flying. Drop it low, drop it low, drop it, drop it, drop it, drop it low. Don't. I haven't hit that sim rig gap in a while. Oh shit, I'm tangling with the printer. Whoop, are we there? 3, 4, 2, we got another second. Nope, we're there. 3.41. Can't see it because of the light. 2 minutes and 18. And I just said I've been doing I on that battery I flew flat and chill for a little bit less. I was doing a lot more full throttle throws and shit, and we didn't quite get to 2 minutes and 30. We got a little bit less, so it's about right. Damn, very cool. Another fresh battery. I'm gonna charge upstairs and do that full throttle hit for as long as I can. Try not to blow it again this time. All right. Here we go. And... all right, here we go. There we go. That was a good one. 51,508. So that one battery really cranked the RPM up. That run there was, I think, just as long as that second battery, I guess it was, that we flew. So I don't think we're going to see much more than that one battery. Don't do it on that mirror. Do it on this mirror. So the run times are a little bit low here because we've got really powerful high kV motors on 1.4-inch props. I would not usually recommend these bigger props on this powerful and sort of hungry of a motor. Of these, I think I ended up doing 4 1.4-inch builds to test. The one that I liked the most was on the Happy Model 0702 32500. Sorry, the WeBleed 0702 32500s. The way that everyone other than WeBleed Tiny Whoop Happy Model rate their KV is different. So you can't compare KVs between different motor brands. What I can tell you is that the Happy Model, sorry, the WeBleed 32500s, if you measured their KV in a similar way to the way that Newbie Drone measures its KV, they would probably be like 27,000, maybe 26,000, maybe 28,000. Just as sort of a comparison point for you. This is not my favorite 1.4-inch prop rig. I'll just say that. The runtime kind of sucks because these motors make way too much power. And these motors are trying to spin up to a KV that's higher than what these propellers want. So there's another 2 minute, 25 second. Man, everything lined up. Every single battery that we flew, the runtime and the RPM and everything was exactly what I would expect. That's pretty cool. That's really cool, actually, to kind of see that. So yeah, there you go. This rig did definitely show the differences. I wonder if so like basically this build is sort of overpropped. These motors want a super lightweight 1.2 inch propeller that's like low pitch, and I'm not giving that to them. I'm asking them for a ton more than that. Let me swap to a different build with motors and props that are a little bit better matched than this. This is, I think, the last time that you're going to see this rig set up like this. This is going to get taken out of this frame and put back into a 1.2 inch frame. It's gonna like that a lot more. One by one, I'm pulling these 1.4 inch prop builds that I built for testing apart. And I'll end up with two of them that are sort of close to identical, and that'll be it. I did the 4 different builds when I was trying to test a bunch of stuff. It really helps to have multiple builds during testing so that you can back-to-back them. So let's take this guy. This is Betaflight Air 65 V2 frame. WeBleed 0702 40,000 kV motors. HQ 1.2 by 0.9 by 3 propellers. CO3 camera in the Betaflight G-string mount. Terrible but super lightweight antenna. And Matrix AIO. This is the one that I just ran, right? No? Why is it so cool? These batteries usually get a little bit warm, don't they? Hold on. Do I have 2 batteries left? No way. I'm pretty sure this is the battery that I just ran. Let's see. Morton Upshot says, will you for sure have the Expo nailed? Yeah, you can really see it. I did not send it in my OST. I would never do that. This is that is the CAC firmware. Wow, this is... I do have another fresh battery. I'll be damned. Okay. I charged more than I thought. Here we go! We're going to do that same... See what kind of RPM this setup nets us. Curious. Should be... I would think it would be higher, but let's take a look. Good Lord! Wow, okay, yeah, 10,000 extra RPM. Holy shit. Okay. Oh my god, please no. My god, 1.2 inch builds feel like a goddamn scalpel in comparison. Because they kind of are. Oh! Look out, Teddy. I see those little paws. Back up, buddy. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, I don't know what I was trying to do there. What's all this electrical / video noise? Oh, never mind. It's Betaflight. That's what it is. Oh, the sideways throw. That was fun. The ultra easy backwards dive. Woo! That hang time, though. Holy shit. Oh, I couldn't decide which cube to go through. So, you know, when you... It is inside the cowbell right now. Hold on, I'm going to fly deeper into the... Oh, I wanted to go deeper into the cowbell. It's in there. That's never happened before. What did I just do there? That was... What am I doing? Easy, big fella. Look at all this video noise. What the shit, Betaflight? Oh, for Christ's sake. Come on now. Man, oh man, here we go again with the Shakes McGillicuddy Oh, god damn it. It's starting to fly away. Oh, stop. Come on, man. Oh my god, dude. Get this straightened out. Yeah, and see, that antenna is fine. No, this Matrix AIO, it's just such a pain in the ass. Let me check the props just to make sure there's not one banged up. There never is, but... no, that's fine. I just don't get it. I want the Betaflight AIOs to work. I want them to work so bad. But they just... ooh, that AIO is hot as shit. Yeah, this isn't much of a test. I just wanted to fly another battery. Although, boy, that 60,000 RPM number is pretty insane. I never realized there was such a difference there between 1.4s and 1.2s. Is this the dead battery here? No. Huh, okay. Oh god, it's after 12 already. That does it. That does it. We did good. We did good. So yeah, there you go. From a flight feel perspective, I'm not surprised that there's a very noticeable difference between fresh batteries and even the lavas, even the lava batteries that have not been cycled to death like these other ones. They just... it's funny, man. Fresh batteries feel like fresh batteries. I know that's kind of a worthless thing to say, but every single one of you that has had a bunch of batteries and cycled them 50, 80, 100 times and then bought a fresh set of batteries knows exactly what I mean when I say that. The difference in runtime is pretty surprising. The number of milliamps that go into the battery does not change. The only thing that changes as a battery gets old is the resistance, the internal resistance. And so the only thing that explains how much more runtime we're getting is that when the internal resistance gets higher, it sags more even at hover throttle. And then that battery sag is going to bring the voltage down lower, and I was landing at 3.4 volts per cell at a hover. And so it makes sense from that perspective. I didn't expect that. I didn't expect any extra runtime from the fresh batteries. What I expected was higher RPM, which we definitely got, and it to feel better, which it definitely did. So yeah, man, if your batteries are old and moldy, get yourself a fresh set. These WeBleed 300 mAh BT 2.0s have been really, really, really good to me over the years. I have noticed that these, for whatever reason, they, like, when I get a pack of 4 or 6 or 8 batteries in, and then I put a specific colored marker on the tip of them, what I notice is that, because a lot of times I'll get like a pack of... there was one point where I got a pack of Tiny Whoops, a pack of Tattoos, and a pack of WeBleeds, all at the exact same time. And what I absolutely noticed is that after a bunch of months, way more of the WeBleed batteries were still in existence. When a battery starts performing like shit, I get rid of it. And so that makes kind of being able to tell that a little bit easier for me. You could make a very strong argument, and I don't know if you would be wrong, that all of these batteries are manufactured in the same place. I don't know that for sure. I'm not just not telling you that. I legitimately don't know that for sure. But, you know, Tiny Whoop is a niche within a niche within a niche within a niche. And so total number of 300 mAh BT 2.0 batteries produced ever is not super high. And so there may very well just be one spot that's making these batteries, and they could all be exactly the same. Even if there is one spot for these batteries, apparently batteries get graded. And so maybe WeBleed is paying a little bit more for a higher grade of their batteries, and maybe that's why I'm seeing them last a little bit longer. I don't know, man. It's super, super, super hard to tell. But what I can tell you for sure is that fresh batteries feel awesome. You can absolutely feel the difference on the sticks, especially if you back-to-back it like I did. And, you know, I was flying pretty good tonight. There's a hell of a psychological element to doing things that are very difficult, right? And so every little bit helps. Get yourself some fresh batteries. You deserve it. Even if your batteries, even if you get them and they don't perform any better than your existing batteries, it's not like you're not going to fly them. And it's not like you're not going to, you know, fly them to destruction. Tiny whoop batteries don't last that long. So, you know, jumping the gun and buying some fresh ones too early, it doesn't matter. You're going to run them all to death. So do it. And use my affiliate link. Let me get caught up on chat. Mick Bucas says, I cut off the tray and used 2 micro zip ties at exactly the right size to keep the batteries tucked into the frame. Mick Bucas is talking about running double 300 mAh BT 2.0 batteries for 2S. That's a really good idea, dude. I like that a lot. Cold Power says, I meant pogo pin connector, but yes, it would require that the pads be near to each other. I'd avoid soldering if you can find some kind of a rig that holds the leads in place just long enough. That's in reference to old BL Heli 32 ESCs that you want to try to update to AM32. When that whole issue was hot, I talked to Ryan Harrell about it, and even Ryan Harrell said, yeah, it's not worth it. Just fly all of your BL Heli 32 ESCs hard, they'll blow up, and then go to AM32 or BL Heli S. Morton Upshot says, I wonder what uploads to Bamboo Cloud... Oh, for Christ's sakes. But they look like a great printer for people who just want a printer to work. They really are, man. I've been blown away by the A1 Mini in general. The issues as of late, yeah, I cranked that nozzle temperature up really high while it had TPU in it, and then all of a sudden, everything in the extruder, in the line of where the filament goes in the extruder, all those pieces was ultra sticky. So I think I like boiled the TPU, and then all of a sudden the damn thing didn't work right anymore. So it could totally have been me. The printer has not the printer has had nozzle clogs. It has had prints fail. But boy, was it rare. And then all of a sudden it was not rare anymore. But now it's cranking away again. And so, yeah, I don't know, man. I think here's what I've learned. Here's what I think I've learned to in summary with 3D printing. Bamboo Labs has made it way easier, way easier. In the same way that DJI and Bind and Flies and a lot of things in FPV have made FPV way easier. But FPV is still a fucking nightmare. I wouldn't say 3D printing is a nightmare, but it's a similar kind of situation. You buy a Bind and Fly, you put it up in the air, and it works, and it's all good. And then you bang it into concrete a whole bunch of times, and it doesn't just work anymore, and now you're the one that's got to work to get it going. 3D printing, you know, you're not going to bash your 3D printer into concrete, but parts are going to wear, right? Things are going to happen. You're going to do something dumb. You're going to put some weird glow-in-the-dark filament in it from Johnny B. Bad on eBay, right? Like, and when 3D printing stops working perfectly and easily, it's not like you don't just pick it up and take it to Best Buy and they fix it for you. You go on the internet and you start working for it. And so, yeah, a lot of parallels to FPV, which is kind of funny. But what I will say is that if you've been into FPV for more than like 6 months, you could probably handle 3D printing. Like, you're stubborn enough. You obviously know how to look shit up on Google, and that's really all you need for 3D printing. And you need a lot less of it than you do for FPV. FPV is way, way, way more difficult. So yeah, there you go, friends. You Can FPV says, the name of in the name of science, fly till they drop. The batteries, nah, man. It is so easy. Like, doing that kills these little batteries so quickly. The best thing that you can possibly do to make... Okay, so you just made me realize something that's actually really important. Tonight, I took these two WeBleed batteries and this tattoo battery that I have cycled easily 100 times. Easily. Probably quite a bit more than that. And these three did not perform that much worse than the absolutely brand new ones. A big part of that is because I have my low voltage warnings higher than the default, and I don't fly these batteries until they drop. Before I started doing that, like back when I was doing a bunch of live streams from Maggie's old rental house, I would go through batteries like water, bro. And that's when I had the normal low voltage warnings that most people have, which I think are like 3.1 and 3.2, or maybe 3.1 and 3.3. When I started to move those up, and when I started coming home at like 3.5, 3.4 volts per cell, batteries started lasting way longer. So yeah, look, you're only sacrificing like 15, 20 seconds of runtime, I would say. And by the time the battery voltage is that low, it flies like shit anyway. So bring the fucking thing back, take 4 seconds to unplug the battery, pull it out, slam the new one in and plug it in, and your batteries will last a lot longer. It'll fly better through the whole course of the battery. Are you going to get 3 minutes of runtime on a really powerful rig? Probably not. But that doesn't matter for freestyle, right? For racing, it's a totally different kind of thing. But you guys fly freestyle, so take advantage of that. Buy more batteries and fly them for less amount of fly them for a shorter period of time, and then you will save money, because even though you've had to buy more batteries, you're gonna have to buy more batteries anyway when you fly them into the goddamn ground. You know what I'm saying? So have more batteries. It's awesome because you have more batteries. And so, like, if you go on vacation, you got a whole bunch of batteries, you can fly a whole bunch before recharging, and then just don't run them down as much. You'll literally save money, even though you'll have to spend a little bit more money on the front end. You know, you're going to buy the batteries no matter what. Would you rather have 12 that last you 150 cycles each? Or would you rather have 4 that you destroy in, like, 40 cycles? The math doesn't work out right on that. Would you rather have 4... No. The math does work out on that, because it's cycles per battery, not total amount of flights. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, do that. Put your low voltage warnings a little bit higher. What do I use? I'll tell you exactly what to put them at, because I think I've found the sweet spot. 3.4. I use 3.4 and 3.2. Maybe. Hold on. Let me see. Ah, balls. I just got very confused. There was no USB port. I'm like, oh shit, it broke off. No. Oh wait, no, this is the one that it's broken off. That's where the JST is supposed to be. But the JST broke off. That's right. That was a funny moment in my head of like, oh my god, there's no USB port, it broke off. No, you idiot, it's the Betaflight board that doesn't have the USB port on the bottom that has the JST on the side. No, it isn't. It's the one that had the JST port down there, but it broke off. Some of these rigs I have not updated these warnings. Hopefully this is one of the ones that I have. This is one of the ones that I haven't updated them. So I think this might be the stock setup, which is 3.1 and 3.3. So I'm going to change that to 3.2 and 3.4. I think that's what I like. I don't usually... What I usually try to do is at 3.5 volts at a hover. I come in, I like, you know, hey, I'm going to come in and land. If I'm still doing something, I'll do it real quick. I don't usually sit there and hover it and wait for it to be exactly 3.4 like I did tonight, but you know, we were doing the testing tonight. So let me plug one more in just to kind of check that. And also because I need to get this the same on all these rigs. 3.2 and 3.4. Let's plug this Hummingbird in and see. Now, I know that this Hummingbird is 3.3, 3.4 because it was flashing the CAC low battery warnings at 3.4. So, cool, we're good. And I can't change it on this one. Now, I can change it because it's somewhere in the OSD. On that OSD live stream, we figured that out, so I just have to do that. Morton Upshot says, oh, critical detail to leave out. It was working before I effed with it. LOL, yeah. Dave S says, I have 3 sizes of lava batteries still in package from a year ago. Do they store well? They do, because they're at storage voltage. Should I check voltages so they don't drop too low? Absolutely. Always store batteries at 3.8 per cell. It makes a big difference. Whoopfox says, also, by moving your low battery warnings up and coming home at like 3.5, 3.45, when you unplug the battery, the voltage will bounce back up to storage voltage. And then your batteries are always being stored at storage voltage without you having to put them back on the charger, put it into storage mode, right? Whoopfox says, I have 2 Huskies, and every time I fly inside, it's like playing the old game of floor is lava as I pull up so much hair. The prop popper has been my friend. Yeah, man. Warren Upshot says, that constant draw for a hover is not taxing on a battery as much as a punch. You won't see much difference for midpoint unless the battery is shot. I don't set the midpoint at a... Oh, yeah. When you say hover, yeah, right, flying... Yeah, that's true. That's true. But the point of setting that midpoint where when you cruise around like that is that when you're flying low to the ground, right, you're kind of there. Yeah, when you're trying to look over at the throttle number, you're not flying as fast as you normally do. So sometimes what I'll do is like the number that I think I might have done it tonight. The number that I see, like I was seeing the number 33, I think, in the as my throttle number, but then I set it to 34. I set the midpoint to 34. I found that like if you go 1 or 2 digits up from the number that you see when you're cruising around at a speed that you can actually look over at the number, it's sort of your best bet. But if you're interested in Throttle Expo, you got to watch those 2 live streams. One of the 2 live streams that I did, and in there I talk a lot about how like, you know, you want to set that midpoint and then you want to move it up a couple digits, fly a bunch. Move it down a couple digits, fly a bunch, and like you will feel that difference. Even like 1 or 2 numbers, you will feel the difference, and there will be a midpoint value that just feels beautiful. Especially if you run the Throttle Expo amount really high like I do, 40, 50, it becomes really noticeable. And it's just magic when you get it just right. It's so cool. CiottiFPV says, midpoint makes sense, but I hate the Expo. I feel like the stick's doing nothing until I overdo it. I'll have to try it again. I probably didn't do it right. Yeah, it takes some time. You have to really understand it, and then you have to really play around with it. And it's different for everybody. You might not like that a ton of Throttle Expo. It has a lot to do with the way that you fly. If you watch like my sticks when I fly, I don't fly like this. I fly in at the midpoint, and then I hammer full throttle, and then I go to 0 throttle, and then back to the midpoint. That's just me. I lock in to a constant altitude, and I fly at that constant altitude until I hammer the fucking thing through a gate or, you know, up for a stall. That is my personal flying style. It's like all or nothing. It's like I'm at hover point, I'm at full throttle, or I'm at 0 throttle. And so for me, lots of Expo works really, really well. If you're somebody, also like I kind of have to fly like that because this area is small. In a small area, your flying is not going to be super dynamic where like you go really fast sometimes and you go really slow sometimes and you go medium speed sometimes. Like if I go really fast in here, I smash into the wall. Like there's not enough room to go really fast. If you start flying outside, if you start flying in like a gymnasium or something like that where you have a lot of space, you're not going to want tons of expo because you're varying your speed a lot. I talked about this in both of those live streams. So, you know, again, you have to really understand it. You really have to understand how the throttle expo works to be able to set it up properly. And like, it's super obvious, right? Like lots of people are like, nah, throttle expo is the worst. I hate it. And then you talk to those people for 3 seconds and you realize immediately that they don't understand how it works or what it does. And they've put zero effort into actually like diving into it. And like, yeah, if that's the case, you're going to hate it because you need to really understand it from like a nuts and bolts perspective to know if you should be using it. I think everybody should be using at least a little bit of it. And then how much of it you use is the thing that people just don't understand. Everybody would benefit with 10 points of throttle expo because everybody spends the majority of their time in like a window of throttle that's like from 45 to 35 or like 30 to 45. Like nobody constantly uses the entire throttle throw. It just doesn't exist. And so everybody would benefit from a little bit of throttle expo that makes the area of the throttle that they use more gives it more resolution basically. But yeah, it takes some effort and a lot of people are just like, nah, it's easier just to do linear. And also there's this weird thing of like, nah, I don't need no fucking throttle expo to help me fly. I'm the best pilot ever and I run linear. Yeah. Well, like, no, you're not the best pilot ever. None of us are. And do you want to fly better or do you want to like talk shit? And to people to most of people hear you saying that and they're just like, what a fucking idiot. So, you know, don't be that guy. I'm not saying that you are that guy. I'm just saying like in general, like don't be that guy. Use the features in Betaflight to your advantage and then you'll feel better flying. Your flight footage will look better. And like what's really funny is then people will see you flying and they'll be like, damn, that guy's actually really good. Versus like you're fucking bouncing all over the place and everybody else is like, man, that guy sucks. And then you're like, nah, man, I'm the fucking best. And then they're like, man, he really sucks and he's an asshole. Know what I'm saying? Jake FPV says, this is why we need an all-in-one 1S charger like the Whoop Store that shows 1S. I know, dude. I know. 1S battery resistance. Have no idea why this isn't a thing. I want to know my battery health without a big charger. I cannot believe that like ViFly makes stuff that's so good and it's so clever. I can't believe they missed that. I really can't. We should all send messages to ViFly and say, yo, if you make a Whoopster V4 we should all say, we have Whoopsters. We love them. CiottiFPV talks about you guys all the time. You should sponsor him. If you make a V4 Whoopster that has internal resistance checking, I will buy it and then sell mine. So, you know, I'm a dead customer because your stuff never dies and I'll just keep using this forever. Or you can just put this one little feature in your new one and then I'll be a live customer again. We should all do that. Hey, you know what we should all also do is watch Joshua Bardwell's latest video about the FAA and then send a do the thing. There's a link in the description and then we should all write a little thing. David Messina from the Freedom Coalition talks about it in there. Just watch it. Watch Joshua's new video. Admittedly, it's more important for long-range folks, but it's coming for us all, and we should all just like do this. It won't take us long, and we'll send it, and yeah, maybe something will happen. Last time this happened, and last time lots of us sent our thoughts in, David talks about in the video, like, it did change. It absolutely did make a difference that loads of us sent letters that said, like, yo, if you do this, it's going to, you know, my flavor is, I've been doing this for 10 years, and if you do this, it will literally ruin my entire career. And that's not very fair, blah, 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 blah. You guys can make your own sort of version of that. You know, lie. Say that your kids love it, and you'd be ruining their lives. Say that your kids are in a STEM program that has drones, and you would ruin all of that learning in the STEM program. Don't just be like, you know, I'm a degenerate and I fly tiny whoops in my basement and I hate you. You Can FPV says midpoint makes sense, but I hate the expo. Oh wait, no, we already talked about that. Jake FPV says, oh, we got that. Jesus Christ. Morton Upshot says, I wasn't impressed by the only set of WeBleed batteries I got. They were the only ones to fail at the USAF museum race in my bag. May have gotten a bad batch. Yeah, sounds like it, because I've had the as opposite experience of that. You Can FPV says, I really like my WeBleed battery, but they break apart. Plastic by the plug breaks quick. I have not had that happen. Well, I'll say this. I've not had that happen with any BT 2.0 batteries. So you might be stressing that part of the plastic more. You're certainly stressing that part of the plastic more than me, or you got a bad batch. Or you sprayed WD-40 or something that's unkind to plastic on them. Morton Upshot says, Bamboo is a project of DJI defectors. It is indeed. It's one of my favorite things about Bamboo. Chris Croft says, not sure if you know from DJI's Create Bamboo Labs. Yep. You Can FPV says, I don't try to, but it happens outside sometimes. LOL. Normally I come back and they recover to 37538. Good. Morton Upshot says, I go back and watch DVR to find my midpoint. That's the better way of doing it. It's usually a touch higher than I think it should be when flying. Agree. Cole Powers says, Throttle Expo is bad. I hate it. 13 years in the hobby. It's definitely not bad, but you're allowed to hate it. That's fine. Fizz PV says, I fully admit that I'm a horrible pilot. It's part of the fun. We all are, brother. It's all good. Cole Powers says, it would be amazing if they could add that feature with, oh shit, a firmware update over Type-C. Yeah, man. That's the way to go. That would be incredible. But I would also buy a new Whoopster if it had that feature in it. As if nothing else, a thank you for adding that feature. Because maybe it is difficult. It's probably not. Thanks for hanging out, friends. CiottiFPV.com if you like this and you'd like to see it continue. Totally crowdfunded. If you guys support me, I'll keep doing it. If you guys don't, I won't. I love you. Be good. Here's some more RC drift car chasing. Come on now. Get in there. There we go. Love you. Bye. See you Friday, I think. Yeah, I'll be here Friday. bye.